Welcome to I Have Something to Say. And I do. I am so excited because one of my good friends, Mark, is going to be on the show with me. Several times in my journey, I had met a person that I feel is the hero of his own story. That describes Mark. I can't imagine having my stroke as young as it did. I was 61 years old, lived most of my life, but this guy has got a story to tell. I am so proud of him, so proud that he's taking this opportunity to share and change lives in the process. So, hey, Salud, without further ado, I'm going to bring on the world famous, amazing superhero. Boom. Hey, Mark.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Well, I am really excited. We have a lot of things. Mary's is Joni. Hey, Jerry Wall, Paul. So I'm in my rocking chair. We determined that Paul is older, Paul is wiser, but Mark's better looking. Yep. He has a wife and 4 kids. I have 5 kids grown, 8 grandkids. So I'm going to introduce Mark and share your story, your amazing story.
Yeah, so I had seizures all my life. I had one when I was 9, and it was kind of brushed off as a fluke incident. I had one when I was 11, and I was playing soccer in 115-degree heat in Yuma, Arizona. And it was kind of brushed off as, just that, playing soccer in 115-degree heat. And then I had a really large one around Christmas time in 1996. And then it was finally decided, maybe we should run some tests here, So they finally did a CAT scan and an MRI. And they found out I had an AVM in my brain. And so, it was decided.
Can you explain that to me?
Yes. So an AVM is an ultravenous malformation. And what it is blood vessels break off from a normal vessel, and then it's a tangle of blood vessels, and it restricts the blood flow from one end to the other. And so when it would do that, that's when I would have my seizures. So the blood pumps extremely fast to the AVM. Excuse me. So the blood's flowing, and then when it would pull the blood, that's when I would have my seizure. Excuse me. And they have the potential to hemorrhage. So obviously, if you have a hemorrhage, that's an aneurysm. That's extremely bad. So, I was given the sat down with the neurologist, the neurosurgeon, my parents and I, and it was either, they broke it down to me, what could happen, this and that. And my AVM was fairly large, so we could have done radiation a few times to try and shrink it. And before that, I was an all-star soccer player. I played for 9 years, and I had traveling teams scouting me, wanting me to play on their soccer teams. And so essentially, this all happened my freshman year in high school. And I wanted to just play sports in high school.
Yeah, me too.
And they wouldn't let me do it because of my AVM. So I said, you know what, let's do the surgery. I want to be a regular kid. I want to play sports in high school.
All right.
And they wouldn't let me do it. So
you had that setback. Your dream was stolen. That's all you wanted, to play ball. You
Yeah.
know, yeah.
Soccer and football were the two things that I wanted to play, and they said no, you're not playing. And so I had that go on, and then it was time to go ahead and proceed with the surgery. It was March 7th of 19 or March 3rd, excuse me, of 1997. And we went in and did the surgery. They went in to do it, and my brain swelled, which caused me to have my stroke. My right lung collapsed, so they had to give me a tracheotomy. You know, obviously they aborted the surgery. Then they went back in to finish the surgery. They found out I had water on the brain. So they put in a shunt and, you know, went back in to finish the surgery. And the shunt got infected, which caused the bone to get infected. So they removed the bone, replaced the shunt, went back in to finish the surgery, CAT scan, MRI, proved that they didn't get the whole AVM.
Wow.
So, you know, then they go back in and get the rest of the AVM. So like 5 or 6 surgeries later, you know,
How old were you?
I was 15.
Wow.
Yeah, I was 15 years old. So, you know, I was in a coma for a month and a half. You know, I woke up from my coma not being able to talk because I had the trach in, not being able to move because of my stroke. And, you know, obviously that's one heck of a shock, especially, you know, being at that age, you know.
You know, what was your first thought when you woke up and coming out of the coma a month and a half? What was your first thought?
From what I remember, I just wanted my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to call my mom, but I couldn't talk. So I just mouthed it like,
Yeah.
I want to call my mom, you know.
You know,
And
funny thing, when I had my stroke, I wanted to call my mom too. 61 years, you know, I just wanted my mom, and I couldn't talk, but I can relate.
Yeah. So I think it's, you know, because, you know, the mom, you know, as you go through childhood, you know, you fall down, you scrape your leg or something, you always run to your mom, right?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
If I went to my dad, he said, "Get up, boy. You're not hurting."
Exactly. You know, I have 4 kids, and 3 of them are boys, and I do the same thing to them, you know.
No way.
So you know that they know when they get injured, unless it's serious, you know, they don't come running to me, they go right to their mama.
That's funny.
So,
you know, Mark, when I say you're the hero of your own story, you are. I been following you, and I just have been amazed at your attitude and the way you look at life. And so, if you don't mind, I want to give some people some insight into your way of thinking. So, if I ask you, what do you think about when you say attitude?
yeah, so attitude is, you know, Salud uses this a lot, and I do as well. It's all about PMA, positive mental attitude. And if you don't have the right mindset going into any circumstance, you know, it's going to be extremely hard to succeed in what you're doing. So for instance, if you don't, like, instead of running into a scenario, there's going to be a brick wall in front of you. You might find some traction and be able to scale that brick wall, but you're going to fall down and be at the base of that brick wall again. But if you have the right mindset, you're going to be running, and you're going to be able to hurdle over the hurdles. You're going to be able to, in full stride, jump over those hurdles, you know. So it's all about the right mindset. It's all about the right attitude.
So when I say belief, you know, when I had my stroke, The first thing I remember, about 6 weeks in, my mom sent me a video. I couldn't talk. 1111. All I could say, she said, this guy is talking. Tom Broussard is talking. You can talk. That gave me a glimpse of progress. That helped me elevate my belief.
Yep.
And I said, I can talk.
Yep.
So what's that? You've been so much, much more than I have. And how did you reestablish your belief?
So going back to my initial journey towards my surgery, you know, we woke up at like 3 a.m. in the morning, and I wasn't even nervous. You know, I was excited just to, yeah, it's an extremely large surgery. It's brain surgery. I mean, come on now. and
Mark.
You know, I was just excited. You know, I was excited to move on with my life, get to play sports, this and that. You know, so it's just a matter of, you know, believing that that everything's going to be all right. And I am a firm believer, 100% believer, that everything happens for a reason. You know, you might not see why in that very instance that you know, because you get punched in the gut, you get slapped in the face, you know, with that certain circumstance, and you're sitting there thinking like, oh my gosh, why me? Why did this happen to me?
Yep.
And it's okay to be in that moment, because we are humans, we have emotions, it's okay. But what is not okay is to be stuck in that moment, because they are called moments.
Yeah.
You know, so with that being said, I think you touched on this on Friday, and which is awesome because, you know, we have a lot of the same thinkings. You know, we have a huge support system here. We got yourself, we got Jerry, we got Salud, we got
Mark.
We got
the Truman Show.
We got Cal with Genius Network. We got Cam with Stroke Focus. You know, we got a bunch of people that, you know, you can
shout out to Cal. I love Cal.
Yeah. You know, we got a bunch of people that you can reach out to, you know, and yeah, so I kind of lost my train of thought there, but I think I
want to say hello to a bunch of people. We have got a bunch of people tuning in. Yvonne, Salud, Jenny, Kayla, Carla, Naomi, Randy. So we got a bunch of, you must be famous. Yes.
I think it's all you, Paul. You always have a lot of people tuning into your show. It's all you.
You know, I just try. I'm so blessed. I am so blessed because I just wanted to talk again. That's all. And I would be remiss if I didn't share. What do you think about mindset? I think it's more than people think it is. It's healthy thoughts in, getting up early, programming yourself, planting positive seeds in your garden, weeding the garden of any negative thoughts. What's your take on mindset? I think it's everything.
Yeah. So, you know, and as I said, you know, I don't want to portray like, hey, you know, this guy, you know, went from having his surgery and, you know, was just happy-go-lucky the whole time. No, that's not the case. You know, I went through a divorce. I went through having lost a really good job. So, you know, and here I am now. You know, I have an amazing wife. I have 4 amazing kids. And the only thing that has brought me here is not living getting out of that moment, because I just let those be moments. You know, like I said, we are humans. We're allowed to be in our emotions, and I just let those time frames be moments. Get out of those moments, and it's all about having the right mindset. And as I said before, everything happens for a reason. If those things did not happen, I would not be right here. I would not have the amazing wife that I have.
Exactly.
I would not have the 4 kids that I have now. So, with that being said, it's all about the right mindset.
Exactly. You know, it's okay to not be okay sometimes.
It
It's
is.
okay. It's okay to have a moment
Mhm.
where you think, why me? But it's
Yep.
not okay to continue to go get on that struggle bus
Yep.
and stop at the don't think diner and, you know, pretend you don't matter because you do.
Exactly.
You do.
I,
And
I call it the train. The
woo,
I call it the pity train.
I call it the struggle bus.
There you go.
What about optimism?
You know, and I kind of touched on this in the beginning as well. You know, I was 15 years old. I was super optimistic that everything was going to be okay, and it wasn't. I could have, you know, sat there and been like, you know, why me? Why did this happen to me? I'm only 15 years old. I'm supposed
Hmm.
to, you know, have an attempt to, you know, every kid when they're 15 years old is like, I'm going to be a professional football player. I'm going to be a
Exactly.
professional, you know, athlete, right? Um, you know, I didn't think of all that, you know, stuff. So, you know, yeah, so that's that,
You know, Leslie Hadley said, "Have our pity party and you're done."
right? And that goes back to, you know, you're able to have your pity party because, you know, you're able to be in your moment. We're human beings. We have emotions.
You
And
know,
it can be, you know, a pity party, but that's it. It's a moment and be over it, you
you
know.
know when I lost my mom and dad 3 weeks apart last May and June, that was much more devastating than me having a stroke.
Oh yeah.
You know, and I just was sad, sad, sad. But I went to a therapist, and I've never heard it said like this. He said, Paul, all the stages of grief, they teach that. You want to stop it right now? I said, tell me more. Remember, reflect, and rejoice.
Exactly.
Remember the good things you had with your parents. Reflect on those good things and how it made you feel, and rejoice that you had 60 years with them. I'm telling you that remember, reflect, rejoice changed everything. Everything. I was so down, Mark, and I was just devastated. But all of a sudden, I was said, "Oh, I can remember, reflect, and rejoice." So good for me. Good advice. What about faith and fear?
So I kind of want to touch on what you said as well because
Please, please.
my mother's birth anniversary is coming up as well here on the 22nd. So remembering, reflecting, and rejoicing is exactly something that you need to do when those things happen. You know, obviously we all don't have perfect parents, and that's the thing that when it's remembering, reflecting, and rejoicing is the word right there that you want to focus on.
Yes.
You know, because you're rejoicing the happy moments. You know, we're not thinking about like, oh, my parent was did this, did that, could have done that better. We're not thinking about that because we're rejoicing the happy moments. And so this is, at first, this used to be a somber time for me. It kind of still is because it's kind of still new for me.
Me
She,
too.
she only passed like 4 years ago. So it's still new. It's kind of a somber time for me. But as the years go by, it's getting easier and easier because I'm starting to adapt to the feeling of grief, not picking up the phone calls as much and just letting them go to voicemail, not talking to her as much and all that, you know. So yeah, that's
You
my
know,
mom.
sometimes it's hard. And I'm sure you have the great relationship with your mom, but for me, my mom was like absolutely my hero.
Mhm.
She willed me to get well. She called me when I couldn't talk. He said, "Boy, you need to get off your butt and do the work. I'm tired of listening to you whine." I couldn't say anything. One, one, one. I can see you whining over the phone. Only a mom could say that.
Right.
And she called
And
me every day. Every day. Have you recorded your video yet? So I began to record my videos. When I couldn't talk, I would mess up every word. But that daily practice and that accountability, I'm telling you, that accountability that she provided me was everything. I haven't talked about that much, but I'm telling you, that was everything because I knew that phone call was coming. And if I didn't record that video, mom was going to give me a dose of it.
right. Even
And
even though you were older then, you know, you still
oh
got the
yeah,
scolding.
yeah. Well, Lori said I tried to commit suicide, but I'm so glad I failed because I'm truly happy. People see that and it makes them happy. Lori, I'm glad you didn't do it either because we need you. We need
Yes, we,
you. And
yes, we do, Lori.
yes, wow. I
Glad you're
love,
here. I'm glad you're here too, Lori.
yeah. Anytime you need, just reach out anytime. And, you
Yeah.
know,
And that goes for whoever is watching. You know, we are just a message away.
exactly. And, you know, it's okay to be not okay. Just reach out because that really shook me up a little bit. Anyway, daily practice is in accountability is something my mom gave me. But back to the subject of faith versus fear, I had to have faith to overcome my fears,
Hmm.
but I needed to crush that fear.
Yeah.
What about you?
Um, yeah, that's kind of difficult. Because I didn't always you know, whether a lot that's kind of difficult because I didn't always have faith as far from a religious standpoint. And I just recently found my faith about 6 years ago. So I basically had my faith in life, if that makes
Yep,
sense, and the
I got it.
universe. And
Yep.
that's where everything happens from a reason came from. It wasn't necessarily God's standpoint to whereas now it is. So my faith in life was at that standpoint. Um, Fear is a natural emotion as well.
Mm.
And that overcomes, you know, just your faith in that everything's going to play out. Everything happens for a reason, you know, and in my bio, you know, you can see that that I say, you know, if I miss the bus, you know, because I grabbed an extra cup of coffee,
Yes.
you know, it was my choice. One of my mottos is my choices determine my future. You know, so if I blew off Jeff, you know, it's because I didn't get. That's why I didn't get invited to the party. You know, and that was my choice. You know, um, so yeah, you know, it's all about everything happened for a reason. So, you know, the fear and the faith, it's one and the same. So,
You know, I think fear is a good, healthy emotion because it tells you something is about to happen that you're not prepared for yet. So get ready and take it on stock. And I just believe it's a good emotion.
yeah.
Um, all these comments. Jerry said, but Mark, I love how you end all of your show with a prayer. I do
You know,
too.
what's funny about that, I was just thinking the other day, you know, for some reason I get nervous when I say my prayers at the end of my shows. And
That's good.
yeah, they don't always come out, you know, how I want them to. It's
You
it's kind
know,
of it's kind of funny. But I was just thinking about that the other day. That's kind of funny.
I love this comment. We have all had dark thoughts at times. Just hit the pause and reach out. There are many of us here 24/7. We will help you find a way, your hope. So, Carla, if you don't know Carla, my good friend Kayla is her daughter. She had 37 surgeries,
Wow.
and Carla had to say goodbye to Kayla 37 times.
Wow.
It was so, and she is the, both of them, Carla and Kayla, are the most amazing people. I was at speech therapy with Kayla, and she's just my hero, and so good. So this is a subject you know a lot about. Talk to me.
Boom.
Talk to
Determined.
talk to me.
No, it's kind of what you said this morning, you know, Paul. It's all about, you know, writing your own story. You know, you have to set your goals. Always set goals for yourself. Always. And do not set your goals. You set your goals high. You know, you reach for freaking Mars with those goals.
Right. Why not?
Screw the moon. Reach for Mars, you know.
You know, Mike.
And go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Screw the moon. Reach for Mars with those goals. And, you know, and you can set little goals in between that. So when you reach those little goals, like, heck yeah, you know, and guess what? Even if you don't land on Mars and you land on the moon, it's still a huge moral victory, you know. But once you hit that goal, don't stop there. Set another goal, you know, and you know, and it goes back with the positive mental attitude, you know, you're gonna hit that goal. You know, it's all about the right mindset, because when those hurdles get in your way, because they're going to be there, it's natural with life. You know, there's always hurdles that come in your way, no matter what you're doing. You know,
it's simple. It's you just need to turn your loss into a lesson, your stopping stone into a stepping stone.
Yes.
Use your hurdle to step to the next event in life. I was told many times, many years ago, that make no little plans. They have no magic to stir a man's or woman's blood. Big plans. Think bigger. And I believe that's is everything. So one of the things I believe in determination, you have to back it up with dedication, drive, and self-discipline to have your determination take you to the next level.
There you go.
If you do anything is possible.
Yep. And circling back around to one of my mottos, choices determine your future. Now, with that being said, you're stuck in a fork in the road to make this choice or to make that choice. Now, if we make this choice and we're like, dang it, I should have made that choice. There's no such thing as a bad choice. With that being said, because when you're stuck there and you're like, dang, I should have made the other choice, it's a learning experience. So with that learning experience, you gain more knowledge, you gain more power, you gain more wisdom.
Exactly.
No such thing as a bad choice.
Some of my greatest lessons has been reflecting on bad choices I made and how to get it better next time.
Mm-hmm.
Always think about how would you proceed if you knew what you knew before, and just make a better choice. But I agree. There's no bad choices if you don't take the time to view it as a lost lesson. And what about passion to you? Are you very passionate about what? I know you want to help people. I can tell that, like, it comes out of every pore in your body.
It does.
I'm telling you, I can tell it.
When I first started this journey, my sister has been telling me for years, that I need to share my testimony to help others. And it wasn't until I went back east for Christmas and my cousin suffered a stroke as well, and pretty much the same thing as her, left side deficit, walking with cane, yada yada. And she's watching me getting around the house, using my left hand a little bit. And so then it was right there that I was like, all right, she's gaining a little bit of inspiration for herself, seeing what I'm doing. So I was like, all right, now is the time for me to get out there and spread that inspiration and hope and determination to other people. So that's when I sat down, I came up with the name Determined, wrote my mission statement.
Did you think of that name?
Huh?
I'm just picking.
I did. I did. So, I wrote Determined, wrote my mission statement, my slogans and all that stuff, and I did all that and during Christmas time. And then once I got, everything all finalized and all that stuff, that's when it was time to get started. I got started around late January. So, so with that being said, it's all about, for me, I get the gratification of doing what I do when I get the comments and the feedbacks or the direct messages. Hey, I really needed your show today. I look forward to your show. Thank you so much for what you said in your show. That's the type of stuff that, tells me, what I set out to do is working, so to speak. So my passion is to get onto a grander stage so that I can reach the masses.
Can I say one thing?
Go ahead.
I am going to start a stroke speakers bureau. I bought the name, and I I think we should share all over the world. Who knows better than we? We've been through it, right? So
Right.
we have no skin in the game, but help other people. That's
There you
all.
go.
And I have a dream to start an aphasia and stroke speakers bureau, because we need to hear these stories from real life heroes, not somebody put up on the pedestal that hasn't been through anything.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's my thought.
I agree 100%. You know, there's nothing like, you know, someone speaking that has lived through the
Yes.
exact experience and can give you the, you know, the perspective on it.
So I didn't mean to interrupt her. You want to take it to a bigger audience. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, because, you know, I feel like when I can make the direct eye contact, you know, with people in the room, you know, I feel like it would be more impactful, you know, and have more meaning. You know, and I just want to be in front of people. Like it's more, that's like my type of style. I'm a people person.
Yeah.
You know, I can go up to people and people I don't know and just like start talking to them, you know.
You know, Mark, I don't know if you know it. I was a teacher for 37 years. I spoke to 2.5 million people on 6 continents. I love teaching. There's nothing like seeing that moment where a student gets it. Teaching is not hard work, it's heart work, and so fulfilling. And I just really want to get back to teaching, being in front of audiences. That's my goal.
Yeah.
And so, how I'm going to ask you something. Where did this sense of humor come from? Tell me, you. I was shocked at the story you used to tell people. So share a little bit about that. That was so funny. Go ahead. I wanted to hear it again.
All right. So you want me to tell the story again? All right.
Please,
So,
please.
You,
So
you
good.
know, when you're 15 years old and you know you get complete strangers coming up to you and asking you what happened to you, you know, you're not comfortable with releasing that information, you know.
Right.
So I made up 2 stories to tell these people. The first one was I was swimming out in the ocean. So if they would ask, you know, what happened to your leg, I would say, well, I was swimming out in the ocean. My best friend and I were on our boogie boards, and I felt something hit my leg. I didn't think anything of it. Then 5 seconds later, wham! Shark grabs my leg, starts thrashing me around. Then all of a sudden it stops. Big old cloud of blood comes up. My leg pops to the surface, so I'm using my leg to stay afloat. Then, because of the blood in the water, more sharks started coming. So I grabbed my leg by the ankle and make as much commotion as possible so they wouldn't eat us. Then a helicopter comes, drops down a tow rope. So I grab my leg by the thigh. I hook my ankle on the tow rope and the airlifted us out of there. Then, if they ask what happened right here, or if they ask what happened right here,
Yep. Can't wait.
sorry,
Wait for it. Wait for it.
I say I was camping out in the desert in the border of Arizona and Mexico, and I heard an Indian cry like, "Ay, ay, ay, ay," and he shot me in the throat right here, and I was going in and out of consciousness. And I remember seeing this Indian guy standing over top of me, and then he tried to scalp me right here, but before he could finish, My dad came and tackled him, and they started wrestling on the ground. And then the Indian guy pulled out a knife from down here and tried to stab my dad. My dad grabbed his arm and broke it, took the knife from him, decapitated him, and his head is resting above the fireplace on the mantle. And then one time at band camp.
Listen, can I ask you, did people listen like,
Yeah,
exactly.
I got that good at telling the stories. So yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing that with all of us. Did you have aphasia at any time, Mark?
So I think one of the things that you said, Paul, is, a lot of people say no, that they didn't have aphasia. So, but they actually did. So I'm going to say no, I didn't, but no, but my memory is absolutely horrible. It's freaking horrible.
I'm not a person that should diagnose anyone, but you remind me of me when I can't find my words. So that's motor apraxia. And I think, whether you had aphasia or not, whether you had motor apraxia or not, dysarthria or not, I had it all. But we had both been through something, in your case, I can't believe you were 15 years old and had all your gifts stolen, and you had to come back and come back and come back and come back. So I'm going to ask you a question. And did you ever get depressed?
Yes, and I think at times I do. I think, it has maybe some sort of chemical imbalance in my brain, or the medication that I take. Not too sure. But depression is it's a hard thing. It really is. And, it is. And as we talked about many times, we have to do our best to make it a moment and not live in that state. So you need to find something to get yourself out of that state, whether it's talking to someone, doing something that makes you happy. My thing is going fishing. So that
I fished this weekend. My granddaddy said a man can't fish and worry at the same time.
See? Exactly. So I'll go fishing, and I will go fishing for hours, and I'll just sit out there, maybe I'll think about what's going on for like 20, 30 minutes. And then after that, boom, I'm good, And,
by the way, Randy says I have all the time had problems with my words. So we got something to relate to. We all do. And Yvonne said, Dr. Paul, don't scare me. I'm not a doctor. I shouldn't diagnose anyone. That's
right.
Oh, I have chronic depression. I didn't know that, Salud, until I did that show with Montana, and you said that. I didn't know that. But people have a problem with depression.
Yep.
And it's so, he said, I went to a psychologist for years. The main thing, you have to get help, and you have to reach out to someone. I think it's so important that we stay connected. A feeling of disconnect is so bad. We have to get connected.
No.
So many people look at his comments. Let me go through a few. I felt my stroke affected my cognitive thought. Yep. I have learned not stay down. Yeah. It's just deal with positive emotions, say positive affirmations, reach out. Go ahead.
I love Lynette's. Pull that up real quick. I wanna speak on that.
Okay, let
The
me
last
go.
one.
Okay.
So living alone, yes, I can get depressed, but I learned to use notes all over my house to keep me going. That is an awesome technique, Lynette. Let me share with you why. I don't know if I shared this or not, but I went on to, so basically, I graduated high school in 3 years. And I did a great disservice to myself because when I went back to high school, they put me in the quote unquote special classes. And basically, I just skated through high school. I took like aviation for my science classes. The English classes that I took were, I don't know, fifth grade English, and the only hard classes that I took was math. So when I went back to school, I went back to college in 2010 and late 2010, and I didn't know my difference between my theirs. I would spell WERE for where. Um, my grammar, my English was absolutely horrible, you know. So I did a great disservice to myself in that aspect. So circling back around to what Lynette said. So what I did was, I wrote something on my mirror and it said, "You're not only doing this self, you're doing this for your future and everyone else." Beep. So I would wake up and I would see that message every day, and it would keep me determined to keep on pushing
Yeah.
forward, even when I would wake up and I'm like, man, I don't want to go to school today. I don't want to do all this freaking work, but I would see that message and know, you know what? There's a goal at the end of this. I have to do this. So I did. I got 3 AAs at the junior college that I went to in 2 years. I got drafting technologies, business management, business administration,
Wow.
and then I moved on to California Baptist University, and I got my master's degree and a total of 4.5 years. And even during that time frame, at the very last semester of my MBA program, I got food poisoning and I was just like so out of it. Like my equilibrium was all jacked up. Um, I had such a gnarly migraine, and I told my wife, I was like, "Baby, I got to go to the hospital." So we went to the hospital, and I told the doctor, I said, "Hey, I think it has something to do with my shunt." So they did the CAT scan, they did the MRI, they told me I was fine. So it was like the movie Groundhog's Day, where everything happened the same, So I'd move my head, everything would be all kind of like blurry, like the Matrix and stuff.
Yeah.
And I had my gnarly headache, my gnarly migraine. I'd wake up at 2 a.m. in the morning because my migraine was so severe. I'm in the middle of my MBA program. I can't freaking do my work because my migraine's so freaking severe. So, 2 days go by. I go back to the same hospital. And And I go back and I tell them, I think it has something to do with my shunt. CAT scan, MRI. Actually the head nurse laughs at me and tells me I'm there for just a headache. And I'm like, no, lady, look, something's wrong with me. And so CAT scan, MRI, tell me nothing's wrong, send me home. So I'm like, all right, whatever, A couple of days go by, 2 a.m. in the morning, blah, blah, blah. So I go to a different hospital, something to do with my shunt, CAT scan, MRI, nothing's wrong, send me home. Then I go to another hospital. I go to Loma Linda, which is supposed to be like a better hospital.
I've been there.
Yeah. And I tell them what's going on. I tell them what's happening, my symptoms, this and that. I think it has something to do with my shunt. The lady's like, okay, that sounds problematic for a shunt malfunction. So I'm like, okay, we're finally getting somewhere. CAT scan, MRI, send me home. I'm like, now I'm thinking like, okay, maybe I'm just overreacting or something, So I wait like 5 days this time. And nothing is changing. Waking up at 2 a.m. in the morning because my migraine is so severe and I just can't do anything. I'm just like pretty much bedridden. So I can't take it anymore. I wake up at 2 a.m. This is when my first son was probably like 2 or 3 months old. I tell my wife, I say, babe, I can't take it anymore. Let's go down to UCSD Medical Center where I originally had my brain surgery. We drive down there at 2 a.m. in the morning. I tell them what's going on. My shunt ended up being broken in my neck. So the fluid that was building up in my brain was not able to drain my abdomen.
Wow.
So what they did, it was the shunt I got in 1997. So what they did back then, they were able to just push on this part of the shunt to siphon in the fluid in the shunt, or excuse me, push on this part of the shunt to siphon in the fluid on the shunt, then push on this part of the shunt, and then there's a big old pocket of fluid in my neck from the fluid that they took from my brain, the excess fluid, and it was just immediate relief from that, immediate relief. And then so I emailed my teachers, told them what was going on. The grades were already processed. I said, hey, I was able to get one teacher to extend it. The other teacher was too late. She already submitted the grades, or he already submitted the grades. So I didn't graduate on time. I had to take that semester all over again. But,
that's an amazing story. So many people need to be their own advocate. And I know for me, I was told I would never talk again, never read again, never write again. And I just had to be my own advocate. And I just needed to do the work. I know goals is so played a part in my life. I wrote a good book called It All Matters about goal setting. And I'm regarded as an expert on the subject, but goals for me kept me moving forward, kept me reaching for something. And every day that I could learn a word or learn a phrase, when we do that the other night, I had so much fun when we did the little tricks, tips from Paul.
Yeah.
It was so much fun. How much did you practice? How much did you practice to overcome this deficit? A lot, I'm sure, right?
Oh yeah. The physical therapy, I was in inpatient physical therapy for a month and a half. I started out with the parallel bars, went to a walker, a wide base 4-prong cane, a small base 4-prong cane. Then by the time I was in the small base 4-prong cane, that's when it was time to go home. So back to school my sophomore year wearing a helmet with a small base 4-prong cane. And then by time my junior year came, I didn't need a walking device anymore. And
Wow.
my junior year. And it was time to put the plate in. So they put in the plate, no more walking device, so yeah, so that's that, and I can do this number with my left hand, but as far as like, this stuff, it's more of like I have to think to use it, you know what I mean, instead of it coming natural. So yeah.
I believe that we all have our own story, and we have to be ready to share our story, but we have to own it. And if you don't own it, people will view it as complaining. You have to own it. Be proud of your story.
Oh,
yeah. Lynette said, I was told that I had 17% of talking and walking again. You know what, Lynette? They didn't measure your heart because you are so strong.
Your heart and your determination,
Exactly.
Lynette.
And, we need to, thank you, Naomi. I was really looking forward to interviewing Mark because he's the boss, and so very emotional today because I sense a camaraderie with you, and I feel really blessed that I've gotten to know you. The things,
likewise, brother, likewise.
Like everything has happened in my life since I had my stroke, more good friends than I've ever had.
100%, 100%.
And what did Salud say? From the beginning, after Tom's stroke, we didn't let it define him. Congratulations. So can you do me a favor?
Sure.
What's your big dream? Like, you talked about it a little bit, but what's your big dream? Say it in one sentence.
To get on a larger platform to inspire as many people as possible.
Okay. Tell me about your family.
I have 4 young kids, with the oldest one being 6, soon to be 7 next month, and the youngest one being 6 months.
Wow.
It is utter chaos in my house 24/7.
There's nothing better than being a parent at all.
I love it.
When the doctors tell you something, remember they are practicing medicine. Exactly. So, I have a favor to ask.
What's up, Paul?
You ready?
Yeah.
Say a prayer.
Sure.
Okay.
Let's do it. Scoot closer.
Yes.
Dear Heavenly Father, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come onto the show to share my testimony with the community, hoping that it reaches the masses to give some hope and inspiration that they can pull from to better their situation. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. And you know what? Can you believe it? The bandwidth held up. Woohoo! Thank God for that. That's all I was praying for before the show started. So let me run through these closing comments. So many comments. Wow. Man. Don West, I love you, by the way. Wow. Hey. Well, we say until next week.
Have a level 10 life.
Be blessed.
Be blessed.
May the speech be with you, because you don't know when it's going to be taken away. Have a level 10 life, and hope is on the way. You turn. Hope.
Hope is on the way.
And we're going to say bye for now.
Bye
Have a
for
good
now.
day. Bye.
Take it easy, guys. Thank you, Paul.
Thank you very much.